What makes it to the headlines are cities like Mumbai and Pune, but what has in fact emerged as hotspots are regions in Vidarbha as well as in Amravati. We've seen that there's a spurt in the growth over the past in growth in number of cases over the past 10 days to 2 weeks alone. Take us through some of the reasons which the experts have in fact identified as what could have led to this upsurge, and is enough being done in order to curb it?
Yes, absolutely, Tanima. So, negligence in following and adhering to the COVID-related protocol is the reason which tops the list here. Because that's that one thing experts have said that across the state and specifically in these regions, the following of safety protocols is absolutely low. And apart from that, gatherings, whether it's the social gatherings like wedding ceremonies and other functions, or whether it's political gatherings or other gatherings, because Maharashtra also went through Gram Panchayat elections, so those gatherings also contributed to the spike. And apart from that, other things like poor contact tracing, not following home isolation rules strictly, and low community testing are some of the reasons which are listed by experts. Apart from that, experts have also said that some unusual strains were found, but how exactly those strains contributed to the number of cases here is a matter of course, study and research, and the reports of those studies are yet to be out. So these are some of the reasons which are mentioned by the experts here, Tonima. Another thing is the herd immunity part, which the experts have mentioned that last year when the numbers were actually on spike at that time in places in the regions of Vidarbha and Marathwada, those regions were actually comparatively less exposed. That's why their immunity couldn't become stronger, and that's why when the other circumstances are appearing related to the spike in the numbers, that low immunity is also contributing to that. So this is the list of the reasons which are actually identified by the experts contributing to the spike in the numbers here.
Right. Sandhya, also if you could just take us through some of these districts which have in fact emerged as districts which have in fact seen the highest average weekly growth rate. Now we know that Amravati and Akola are there in terms of some of these districts which are have seen a major upsurge. But take us through that list, and also the fact that some of these districts we've seen the state government already putting in a lockdown partially or to some extent certain curbs which have been put in place recently, and what exactly is being done in order to reduce the figures in some of these districts.
So, Tonima, as you already named Amravati and Akola, so apart from Amravati and Akola, places like Yavatmal, Vashim, Nagpur, if we talk about the Marathwada region, Nanded, Latur, Hingoli, all these places are the ones which are the most affected ones. And talking about the steps which are taken by the government in the last couple of weeks, many of these places are actually witnessing stricter COVID-related guidelines. In fact, places like Amravati also went for a lockdown. And if we talk about all these places, in most of the places, schools are also shut till 28th of February, which is till tomorrow. And of course, the guidelines will be revised on 1st of March. So these are the places where the guidelines, COVID-related guidelines, are the ones which are imposed, are the stricter ones. And this is the rural part of these districts, and the city part of these districts is also equally affected. And if we talk about Amravati city did see a lockdown, a week-long lockdown. And other than that, if we talk about metro cities like Mumbai and Pune, so this time Pune is actually another worry point for the administration. Talking about the positivity rate of that city, it is increasing. It is on an increase since last few days. If we talk about the current situation, till yesterday, the positivity rate actually crossed 15% mark as well. Pune also, stricter guidelines were imposed in Pune as well, including night curfew and other parts. Now, how exactly these guidelines are going to help, and when the guidelines will be revised, because most of these guidelines were till 28th of February only. Based on the result, the revised guidelines will be issued on 1st, and we'll get to see whether these stricter guidelines will continue, or will there be any other changes in that.
Right. Sandhya, thank you so much for bringing us that comprehensive update on the Maharashtra COVID situation.